They mess you up, your mom and dad, goes the opening line, sort of one of Philip Larkin's poems. Who knows? Maybe they do. And even if they don't mess us up, the things we learn and are told in early childhood affect our behavior throughout life. In this morning's gospel, Jesus is teaching people who had grown up with a twisted picture of God, which had warped both them and their society. Just then there appeared a woman with a spirit that had crippled her for 18 years. So Jesus heals her. Yet I don't think physical healing is the point here. Maybe she was weighed down with a spirit of loneliness. Maybe she'd internalized the misogyny of her society. Maybe she was hobbled by an image of God as stern and remote. Whatever it was, Jesus knew she longed for liberation, which is why he called her over and freed her, despite the leader of the synagogue's conviction that God would not want her to be freed, at least not on the Sabbath. Of course, all of us are weighed down, bent over, by a variety of troubles and fears, and by a life-denying image of God. Some of those troubles and fears are the product of our upbringing. Others are the product of our society, which puts a premium on appearance and success and desirability. In a world where Instagram and TikTok have convinced us that curated and edited lives are really real, the pressure to succeed, to achieve, to be the best, to even be someone else, can be a crippling burden. But that's nothing compared to what we've internalized, the hidden emotional loads which have crippled us for years. Perhaps it all started in your early childhood. I don't know. What I do know is we're all carrying around heavy burdens. We may not look and act like we are, but we are. We're emotionally and spiritually bent low. Reynolds Price's memoir, A Whole New Life, tells the story of how he had to adjust to life as a person with a disability after an operation to remove a cancerous tumor on his spine. At some point, he had a dream in which he encountered Jesus at the Sea of Galilee, who poured water over the surgical scar on his back. Jesus then told him that his sins were forgiven and turned to go. But Price boldly asked, "Am I also cured?" And Jesus answered, "That too." You and I have been taught that sin is about certain kinds of naughty thoughts and behaviors. It isn't. Sin is about separation from God. And if behaviors and thoughts are sinful, it's because they weigh us down and bend us over so that we can't move forward and can't look up into the face of divine compassion. "Woman, you are set free," Jesus said. "Am I also cured?" Reynolds Price asked. And we ask it in our own ways, too. The cure comes when we understand ourselves to have been set free from the cancerous and omnipresent reality of sin and shame and believe that we've been made worthy to stand before God just as we are. It's love alone which allows this to happen. The divine love, which, because it was incarnate in Christ, is also incarnate in you and me. It's undeniably true that for too long, Holy Mother Church weighed people down with her legalism and hypocrisy. But now lots of folk are speaking out against the hypocrisy of the institution and standing up to its god of legalism. We need to embrace and affirm their example. Today, the Christ who is love incarnate stands again before you and me and asks if he can lift from us the sins which are such a burden to bear. He longs to erase the negative and overlaid self-image so that we can truly live, not only for ourselves, but for others who have been pushed down and bent over by the cares of this life. For those who can only see God as a terrible and arbitrary judge. He challenges us to be his eyes and mouth and feet and heart for the world, whether it knows that it needs him or not. And he does this so that we may know the God who knew us before we were ever formed in the womb, the God who knows us better than we know ourselves, the God whose only desire is to set us free.